Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final game of the regular season for your Lawrence Lancers. Tonight they'll be taking on the Salem Blue Devils. This is the third time that these teams have met on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, the Salem took the first game in a very close matchup. They came back in the fourth and ended up with the win. And then in the last game, Lawrence did very good, and they ended up taking away a win for themselves, leaving them at 1-1. So this is a very big game because it's almost like a tiebreaker.
Yeah, both teams are definitely struggling this year. Lawrence is coming in with 2 wins, and unfortunately Salem hasn't been able to pull off any victories so far this year. But over the last couple of years, with the way these two teams play each other, they definitely play each other hard. So tonight should be a good one.
Yeah, well, games like this on such days like the day before Thanksgiving, any time that's really just an important time in that sport, it really creates a different atmosphere for the matchup. And this is no exception.
Yeah, this is the first time that they've played the night before Thanksgiving, trying a little something different.
Sure, I could tell you about school, but I'd rather show you. Please come visit me at school.
Being a parent doesn't end when I leave the house. Please come visit me at school.
El papel de ser padre no se termina cuando yo salgo a la escuela.
Por favor, visítame en la escuela. ¿Se recuerda lo mucho que nos divertíamos en la escuela? Ahora lo vamos a hacer juntos. Por favor, visítame a la escuela.
Hay tiempo para ir a visitarme en la escuela.
Do you remember how much fun it was to be in school? Let's do it together. Please come visit me at school.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Veteran Memorial Stadium. I'm Aaron Cirillo. Alongside me is Trey Cruz. Lawrence has played some real tough and interesting games against Haverhill a few weeks ago, and last week, 2 weeks ago, playing against Methuen. Both games, Lawrence had a chance to come back late in the game. They recovered an onside kick in each of those games, came down, scored right away. Late in the game, and unfortunately they weren't able to pull it off in Haverhill. But the week after, they were able to do it in Methuen, and one of the better comebacks in Lawrence high school history.
Yeah, well, that's all we've really seen from this team so far. It's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's almost a blessing and a curse. I mean, early on they'd have these horrible dry runs where they might get a touchdown to start things off, but then they'll really allow a lot of points. But what I like about this team, what really impresses me, is their ability to put points up on the board when they're needed. And that's really where they've excelled this season.
And they have definitely gotten better over the season. Coming in, from the first couple of weeks that we saw, this team has definitely come full circle, and they're starting to play more as a team about the last month of the season.
Yeah, we'll all really revolved around Nelson Valerio learning his role.
And you have a starting quarterback for the Salem Blue Devils, Ryan Nichols, who scrambled out of the pocket, picked up 2 yards on the run. Nichols in the shotgun. Checks out. Appears to be making some changes in the backfield. Got back to pass on a screenplay. He's going to overthrow. He's going to overthrow number 44, Dominic Gigante.
So I've had the opportunity to see some of the freshman action going on last week for football, to kind of see the future of this Lawrence Lancers football kind of franchise, if you will. And it was really interesting to see because, I mean, there wasn't a lot of passing because they haven't developed much of an arm yet at their age. But what I noticed is their ability to run was immense. And just that alone, and quarterback number 10, I believe, Robert Clark, he was fantastic. Even though he didn't really complete any passes,
Right.
maybe one, he still showed that he can improve in that area because he wasn't very far off. So they definitely, that can be great in the potential for this team.
In the game Trey is referring to is the blue and white game. They play that every year between the freshmen and the sophomores. The coaches come. It's called the blue and white game. The coaches come together. They do like a little mini mock draft, select their players, and then they play the blue and white game. Kind of to see, like you said, Trey, the future of Lawrence, the Lawrence High School football program.
Lawrence football will honor its senior football players and cheerleaders in a ceremony immediately following the game.
You had the quarterback, Ryan Nichols, pick up the first down. First down at midfield for Salem. Nichols in the shotgun. Gonna hand the ball off.
Jason Martinez, the ball carrier.
Number 5, Jason Martinez, picks up 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how the defense is playing right now because they don't really seem prepared for the rush, for the running. They really look like they're prepared for a lot of passing because it's just hasn't been a great. Ooh, I stand corrected.
Nice stop there by Lawrence.
Senior captain Chris Pena was there.
Pena in on the stop.
Along with Justin Flores, number 42. Loss of 2 on the play. It's 3rd and 7.
3rd and long here for Salem.
Yeah, you could look for a medium length pass right here. Doesn't look like they're willing to go too far right now.
Nichols drop back to pass. This pass is going to be incomplete. Gigante, which is an intended receiver.
That'll bring up 4th down for Salem. Fine defensive play
Salem will be forced to punt.
4th and 7 at the Lawrence 47-yard line.
Back to return the punt. Back to receive the punt for Lawrence, number 2, George Arena, and number 81, Fran Baez. Gonna let it roll into the end zone for a touchback.
Bemister's punt goes into the end zone. 47-yard punt. No return. It'll be a touchback.
And with this young Lancer offense coming onto the field for the first time in this game, you have your starting quarterback Nelson Valerio. He's been their main focus on offense so far during the season. Nelson has passed for 1,904 yards with 18 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He's also had 81 carries for 322 yards with 1 fumble and 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, Valerio is my favorite part of this offense. As you can see, I remember seeing early on this season, Valerio was he seemed not immature, but he just didn't seem ready for the role he was playing when Rosa got injured. But slowly I saw him develop and mature into a very strong quarterback. And now I think he's an elite quarterback, and he's definitely a threat because of his versatility, his ability to run, his ability to pass, his ability to do everything that a quarterback can do. And it's very amazing to see how he has transitioned.
Going back, talking about Luis Rosa, he is getting the start tonight. His first pass was completed to John Roy, and his second pass was completed to Franger Baez. Franger picks up the first down.
A pickup of 13 yards. That is Baez's 40th catch of the season.
Franger Baez grabs his 40th catch of the season. It's good to see that they have their senior quarterback, Luis Rosa, back. Well, it is senior night, so this coaching staff is going to try and get their seniors as much playing time as possible. Rosa in the shotgun. He's going to keep. And Lewis is going to pick up the first down.
It's really sad that he got injured, considering it's his senior year. It's his last chance to make a mark. If Valerio got injured, let's say, he would have had this season, he'd be like, oh no, I can't play. But he can always come back next season almost with a vengeance. And he can really be good. But just for Rosa, this is his first game really playing.
In a while.
Yeah, for a good amount of minutes. Like, he played a bit lately, but not much.
Well, he did get to start the first 2 games of the year. And then in the second half of the second game of the season, that's when he was injured. And he's been injured for pretty much most of the season. There is a flag on the play.
Rosa's pass complete to number 11, John Roy. There's a penalty flag on the play.
John Roy with the reception. And the penalty is against Lawrence.
The penalty will go against Lawrence. Number 58, Patrick Hughes made the tackle for Salem. Penalty against Lawrence for holding 10 yards. Moves the ball back to the 46-yard line.
The refs are gonna catch Lawrence for a holding, and what I find interesting about this is it's good to see in the first probably like 8 minutes of the game, it's good to get an idea of how much of a role the refs plan on playing in this game, because some games they have been almost non-existent, and in other games they almost run it.
Right, exactly. That happened a few weeks ago when they played Methuen. The first half was, from officiating wise, it was pretty much even, and then in the second half things started to get a little chippy. So you started to see a lot more penalties thrown, and they were big penalties. But fortunately, Lawrence was able to overcome their mistakes and end up coming back late in the fourth quarter, picking up the victory. Rosa in the shotgun. He's gonna fake the handoff. His pass will be completed to George Urena. Urena picks up 5.
Pass complete to number 2, George Urena. Urena knocked out of bounds by Austin Holmesy.
3rd down and long coming up for Lawrence.
This is very definitely an exciting team, because when they're always doing good, you realize, except for like some of their early games, they're pretty ugly, but they've all usually been doing good, but they've been making small, stupid plays throughout the game that have really messed things up for them. I mean, they got so many calls in their first game at home, their second game, which was against, I'm not sure who, but it was like the refs played the whole game almost. Like the refs basically, it was a game of the refs, like, oh, who we're going to call next?
Exactly.
And if Lawrence to stop making those bad plays like that, they can definitely become a very strong team.
Rosa was sacked on the play by Gigante, and Lawrence will be forced to punt. Salem back to return the punt. But there is a flag on the play. False start on Lawrence.
Penalty against Lawrence for a motion prior to the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. Moves the ball back to the 46. Number 14, Lewis Crispin, is on to punt.
Freshman Lewis Crispin back to punt for Lawrence. Correction, Xavier Santiago back to punt for Lawrence.
It's Blue Devil ball, 1st and 10 for Salem.
So
48 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Salem will start deep in their own territory.
Ball spotted at the Salem 16-yard line.
Interesting that they switched from freshman Lewis Crispin to Xavier Santiago for the punting. But I will not question that, as they know what they're doing, and I probably don't as a coach.
Well, Santiago has gotten a couple of punts throughout the season. Not as many as Crispin, because Crispin was their starting punter coming into the season. But when Santiago has been back there, he's definitely been pinning the ball deep, which has been helping this Lancer defense.
It's kind of crazy that Crispin was starting anything as a freshman. Usually as a freshman, it'd be really hard for you to gain such a position.
Exactly. Salem on the run.
Cody Sharp on the carry for Salem.
Cody Sharp
Line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10.
gets back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down and long coming up for Salem. Nichols back to pass. He's looking deep. His pass was intended for Gigante. His pass is incomplete.
Yeah, they haven't shown that they have a great passing offense. They're really more of a run it in kind of team. They're not really like capable of getting those plays with crazy yards. They more like chip away at the distance to the end zone, and slowly they're already in that red zone.
Well, before the game started, I got a chance to take a look at the Salem roster, and this team is a very young team. They have a lot of sophomores starting almost everywhere. So, unfortunately, they haven't been able to come away with a victory yet this year. They are 0-10 coming into tonight's matchup, but that just goes to show you that in the next couple of seasons, they should be getting better, hopefully.
Yes.
Rosa is back out there. Rosa's back there again, just as quarterback.
Interesting to see Rosa playing so much when you've been seeing Valerio play such a huge role in this team. Valerio has really been the catalyst for their offense, but Rosa's showing that he's not any he can't be a letdown. He's a very good player, and though Valerio, in my opinion, is better, he's still just great.
Lewis's pass was completed to Jeremiah Demeron for the first down. Rosa in the shotgun. Pass caught by Jeremiah Demeron. And there's a flag on the play.
Complete to Jeremiah Demeron. He is across the 20-yard line for an apparent Lancer first down. There is a penalty flag on the play.
It seems like Demeron has had a huge game late. Not a huge game, a huge series of games lately, as he's really just kind of grown into his position more. I take it. I believe he is a. Yes, he is a senior, and it's very interesting to see that because it's good. It's like, oh, great, he's a great player, but the fact that we're not going to be able to have him in the future, it's going to be like, okay, we're kind of losing a great player. And they're going to have to find someone to take his place, which is not easy.
But this team is very young, and a lot of the starters on both sides of the ball for Lawrence have only had one. This is their first experience being a varsity starter. John Roy on the carry.
He gains 8 yards.
Picks up 8.
By Salem's number 10, Christopher Stanton.
Yeah, this is a very dynamic offense. They like to use John Roy, Dameron a lot, but they also like to throw to Urena and get him with a nice deep pass, which is very interesting because seeing them able to get the ball wherever it needs to be, they can run, they can pass. The ball, it's almost like I don't know how a defense would stop that because there's no way you could really plan for what's next.
Exactly. Rosa drops back the pass, intended for Baez. It's going to overthrow him.
Rosa's pass intended for Fran Gervais is incomplete.
Brings up third down and 5 for Lawrence. Lewis pretty much just overthrowing Franger on that last passing attempt.
A little over 2 minutes to go in the first quarter of this game. 0-0. Neither Lawrence nor Salem obviously leading.
Rosa back in there as quarterback. We'll have a timeout called by Lawrence.
Timeout called by Lawrence.
Coach is obviously seeing something that
Needs to be addressed.
Needs to be changed on this series. It is third down and 5. Lawrence is moving the ball pretty well so far. Fortunately, they haven't been able to put up any points. Rosa in the backfield. There's a flag on the play. It's going to be a false start against Lawrence.
what you were saying earlier about them being able to get far, but they still haven't scored. It really this kind of been the story of their season, that in this case, because they've had fantastic games, but they really haven't been able to convert on a lot of their big drives. They've especially early on in games, when in the end their like natural instinct, their killing instinct, you could say, really just got the ball into the end zone many plays.
Exactly.
Early in the games and early in the season, no, they wouldn't get that.
Lewis Russell's pass is completed to Franger Baez for a touchdown for Lawrence.
To Franger Baez.
Beautiful route run by Baez. He was wide open on that side of the field.
Touchdown reception of the season.
Franger Baez picks up his 7th touchdown reception of the year. Santiago in to attempt a PAT. It's up, and it's good.
Xavier Santiago boots the extra point through.
Lawrence is up.
1 second remaining here in the first
2 minutes to go in the
Lawrence leads
first
Salem
quarter.
7-0.
Lawrence is up 7-0.
Yeah, it's very important for Lawrence that they get those extra point kicks, because if you look at the way they've played, especially in the Chelmsford game, the special teams has been just horrendous, and it's really like the team's ability to get down the field fast and often that allowed them to really save themselves from the kind of issue that is, because they could not convert on that, and the other team was even worse with it. But they're not really great a great field goal kicking team. So
yeah, field goal, extra points.
Yeah, everything with special teams is kind of like lackluster.
Santiago is a junior, so he will be around for 1 more year. Where he can develop that leg a little more, and they can rely on him when they need to get some points. Santiago on a nice kickoff. Salem is surrounded by Lawrence. Rashid on again. Gang tackled by Lawrence.
Interesting thing to notice, you realize Salem's a little farther than most of the teams that play in the MVC, yet there is a large crowd in the away stands, which is very interesting to see from a team that's not really like a really local, like right there. I mean, they're not far, but...
Yeah, but everyone else is, MVC, so everyone else is in a close area. I mean, the furthest drive is Lower Chelmsford, and that's right up the highway.
And then you don't really get huge crowds for those teams. Salem's a much larger crowd than usual.
There was a flag on the play. It's going to be against Salem for holding. Salem deep in their own end zone. Nichols drops back to pass. Going to throw a screen. And Jadiel Polanco is going to come up with a big stop.
What's interesting right here is it reminds me of a time early on in the season, first game, first play of it, safety against Lawrence, and they end up losing the 2 points, giving the ball to the other team. And I was hoping for Lawrence to do the same here, but I guess this might not be the case.
Nichols on the quarterback keeper. He's going to pick up a first down.
Number 45, Carlos Dominic on the tackle for Lawrence.
Just short of the yard marker.
Leaves Salem with 3rd down and short.
Nichols in the backfield. He's going to fake. Going to hand the ball off, and Lawrence will be there to stop Martinez. Lawrence forcing Salem to punt once again.
Nathaniel Cruz led the Lancer defense. Loss of a yard of the
Baez and Urena
2 for Salem.
deep to return the punt.
Stephen Bemister comes in to punt. Back to receive for Lawrence, number 2, George Urena, and number 81, Granger Baez.
And the punt is going to take a Salem bounce in the 35-yard line of Lawrence.
3-yard punt. Ball down by Salem's Austin Holmesy. And that's the end of the first quarter here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Lawrence Lancers lead the Salem Blue Devils 7-0.
At the end of the first quarter, Lawrence is up 7-0.
And there goes the end of the quarter buzzer.
And we'll be back with second quarter action coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Lawrence Lancers in his 8th year is Mike Yamin. His associate head coach is Kevin Fielding. Assistant coaches are Chris Boardman, Matt Cerullo, Dan Blewett, Mark Cerullo, Seth Winter, and Christian Guzman. Volunteer assistant coaches are Louis Nova and Andrew Matos. Athletic trainers for Lawrence are Laura Embriano and Tracy Cars Balageron. Mike Cerullo keeps the stats. Your clock operator is Chuck Luongo.
Valerio is in at quarterback now for Lawrence.
First and 10.
Nelson's 96 yards short of a 2,000-yard passing season. He's going to pump fake. He's going deep.
Right here.
He has Urena open. Broken up.
Nelson Valerio in at quarterback for Lawrence. His first pass of the game.
Broken up by number 37, Austin Holmesy.
Intended for George Urena. Second down and 10.
Very interesting to this point to see how Lawrence can operate on offense against pretty not powerful, but not too bad, not a very lackluster Salem defense.
Nelson in the shotgun. Nelson on the keeper. He's gonna, it appears that he has picked up the first down. He's gonna give Lawrence the spot.
That is a Lawrence first down, first and 10 at their own 47. Valerio, the team's leading rusher this year with 332 yards on the ground.
Nelson in the backfield. Fake the handoff to Dameron. His pass will be completed to
Valerio's pass complete to
Franger Bias.
Gain of 9 yards on the
Just short of the first down.
They leaves him with 87 yards, I believe.
Valerio, with over 1,900 yards passing on the season, is the Lawrence Lancers single-season passing yards record holder. Second down and 1. More yards than Celia? Can't imagine.
Salem is coming quick. He's going to hand off to Dameron, and Dameron is going to pick up the first down.
That is a Lancer first down. First and 10, Lawrence at the Salem 41. Single wing. Single wing. So you got 3 backs, and any one of them can run or throw. The center has to snap it to the right back.
Lawrence moving the ball pretty well on this offensive series. Yes, George Rayner at the bottom of your screen in single coverage. And Franger Bias is going to be at the top of the screen in the same single coverage.
Timeout called by Lawrence.
And Lawrence just called another timeout. And it's pretty amazing that Nelson, being a sophomore quarterback, is close to 2,000 yards passing in one season. And if you think about it, he hasn't even played a full season because the first week Louis Rosa got the start, and then week 2 Nelson came in the second half, and he started his streak then. And with that being said, pass is completed to Elvis Pena
To number 15, Elvis Pena.
for another Lancer first down.
16-yard gain on the play down to the 25-yard line. And that's
71 yards away from 2,000. You can hear the Salem band playing. I believe it's Viva La Vida or something in the background. I'm not sure. Sounds like that.
One receiver at the bottom of your screen. 3 up top. Pass is intended for John Roy. And John Roy will be hit for a loss.
Complete to John Roy. A loss of 2 on the play. Second down, 12.
So then Joe Celia came back to Lawrence and taught as a gym teacher and coach for many, many years.
I have 2 receivers at the top of your screen, Fran Baez and Christopher Pena. 3 at the bottom, Urena, Roy, and Dameron. Nelson drops back to pass. He's going to keep it. Pick up the first down on a sliding effort.
Gains 12 yards on the play. And that is another Lancer first down, 1st and 10 for Lawrence. At the Salem 14.
And he coached like every sport at one point. Like all. It's football, basketball, baseball, tennis, wrestling. I knew he was wrestling. I used to work with him a little bit in his wrestling. He was tremendous. Very nice kid. Didn't make it professional. No.
Pena in motion. He's going to hand off to Pena. Excellent blocking ahead. Pena's going to fight. He's going to be short of the touchdown.
He brings the ball inside the 5-yard line. That's good for another Lancer first down. It'll be 1st and goal, Lawrence at the Salem 2-yard line.
Joe retired from teaching.
And it looks like the Salem marching band will be making their way out of the stands.
Let's get ready for halftime. Very quick moving quarter.
It actually has been.
Just under 7 minutes to go. Valerio's going to hand off to Dameron. Dameron's going to break 1 tackle, and he's going to be in for the touchdown. With that being said, Lawrence is up 13-0 here in the first half, awaiting the extra point.
What a turnaround from the beginning of the season. Early on, they were just like, oh my God, it was so scary. But now they know what they need to do, and they always get it done. It's amazing now.
They have been playing a lot better the second half of the season. Unfortunately, we haven't covered too many of those games because majority of them have been on the road. With that being said, Santiago's field extra point is good. That extends the Lancer lead 14-0.
6 minutes and 38 seconds until the halftime buzzer. And then things get interesting. See how the second half plays out.
Santiago set to kick off for Lawrence.
Santiago ready to kick off. Deep kick by Santiago inside the 10-yard line of Salem. Salem on the return. Breaks a couple of tackles. And there is an injured Salem player down on the field.
Rashid Adigan on the kickoff return for Salem, a 30-yard kickoff return out across the 35-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils.
Brandon Habara is down for Salem.
Really, for Lawrence and the teams that's faced, It's really been a season of injuries, and it's very interesting to see. I want to know if this is normal, because there's been just a multitude of injuries on both sides. Because and they wouldn't be the most long-term injuries. But you see, oh, I'm down, I can't get up. Almost like a Life Alert commercial, constantly in this game, and it's really crazy. Not this game, this season for them. And then Rosa gets injured. It was
Well, a majority of in-game injuries for high school football players is cramping, just because some players aren't sure how to hydrate themselves throughout the day. You know, you have to drink a lot of water before the game, maybe throw in a Gatorade here and there, and then go back to water. And it's just something that kids in this area just aren't taught how to hydrate themselves properly. It's unfortunate to see, but at least it's not, like you said, a season-ending injury. You can come back from a cramp. Might take a couple of plays, get some water into your system, stretch it out, and then good to go from there.
oh no, but they get the really bad cramps that you can't get rid of. Anyways, let's get back to the game actually now.
Nichols to hand the ball off. Martinez picks up a couple of yards.
Okay, so not necessarily because of the fact that I'm a Lawrence Lancers fan, or that just they're playing this team or anything, but I really don't like Nichols' game. Like, it's just, he doesn't seem to be the best at really anything. It just kind of seems like he has an all-round, like, jack of all trades, but still a little toned down in his skill level. It's not really that exciting to me, really.
Nichols is stopped on the keeper.
There you go. He can't run like Valerio. He just doesn't seem to have, he lacks that kind of explosiveness and excitement that Valerio provides.
Well, he is our first year. He is our first year starting quarterback. He's gonna keep the ball. Gonna pick up Blue Devils first down. He's gonna cross midfield.
He's ahead for a Salem first down. Stopped up at midfield. Lawrence is number 53, Jeriel Velez.
Velez coming up with the tackle for Lawrence.
For Salem at the Lawrence 47.
Interesting about this team, you haven't heard a lot of like different names for the tackling. It's always been the same kind of frontline guys because there's been a lot of running, and then a couple of those safeties and such.
Nichols' pass completed to Adigan.
A gain of 2 yards. Carlos Gonzalez made the tackle. 2nd and 7 for Salem at the Lawrence 44.
2nd down and 8 for Salem. It's a flag on the play. It's going to be a false start against Salem.
Yeah, it's a pretty flaggy game. A lot of, penalties, and just they've kind of taken over the game, if you will.
Well, no major penalties. A lot of false starts and offsides, but nerves are on edge. It is the first half. You've never played this team before, so it comes with the territory. Nichols' pass complete, intended.
Pass incomplete. Intended for number 80, John Hartman.
Intended for number 80, Hartman.
3rd down and 12 for the Blue Devils.
3rd down and long here for Salem. Nichols back to pass. He's looking deep, and his pass will be intercepted.
Nichols' pass incomplete, nearly intercepted.
Nope, pass is incomplete.
Lawrence's Jadiel Polanco, number 4.
Jadiel Polanco making a nice defensive play there.
4th down for Salem in an apparent punting situation.
4th down and long. Salem will be forced to punt.
Stephen Bemister in the punt for Salem.
Back to receive the punt for Lawrence is George Arena and Fran Jabayas. Arena will receive the punt. Makes one move, breaks one tackle, breaks another tackle. Running backwards, moving forwards. Nice blocking up front. Urena makes a nice move and is forced out of bounds.
31-yard punt by Bemister. Then a 20-yard return by George Urena. First and 10 for the Lancers.
It was a good move by Urena, but it was kind of dangerous considering the fact they went back at all like that. I would have, I don't know if that was a smart risk to take, but in the end it did pay off. Pretty risky though.
Well, he did have blockers out in front of him that made legal blocks, which was good to see, especially in that situation. Valerio back to pass. Pass intended for George Urena. Urena with the completion. He's going to be forced out of bounds after a 6-yard pickup.
Valerio's pass complete to number 2, George Urena. Gain of 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Lancers from their own 45.
I believe that is 65 yards until he gets his 2,000th yard. And I think it's going to be a huge barrier for him to break, considering he's only a sophomore and he has a lot of potential to become better, and he's already great.
And he is a dual threat for their offense. He can throw the ball very well, and in situations he can keep the ball and pick up good yardage on his own running. He does lead the team. There's a fumble on the play. Going back to Valerio, he does lead the team with 300. Coming into tonight's game, he led the team with 322 rushing yards. There was a fumble on the play, and Salem comes up with the recovery.
Magoon recovered the Lawrence fumble. So Salem takes over. They have 1st and 10 at the Lawrence 39.
Not a good thing to happen right now for Lawrence. If anything, they really need to just get moving and just get, as long as they have the ball in offense, whatever they do really to me is good, because if Valerio's passing it, he can't be doing too bad because he never really messes up too much.
Nichols' pass was completed to Hartman.
Lawrence's Henry Carpio made the tackle.
Carpio was there on the defensive play. Carpio is undersized in that matchup against Hartman, but he did lay a nice tackle on him. Nichols goes back to Hartman, overthrows him.
Yeah, Hartman, it's interesting because Hartman, you can see the size advantage there. And you can really see how he's using it, because he would have probably had a touchdown if he didn't get tripped up by whoever his guard, who basically was on the ground and ended up causing him to fall.
Nichols hands the ball off to Martinez. Martinez is stopped.
Martinez, the ball carrier for Salem. Hit at the line of scrimmage, stopped for perhaps a gain of a yard. Michael Monclova, number 55, on the tackle for Lawrence. 3rd down and 9 for Salem.
3rd down and 9 with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
The 2-minute warning, 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Nichols draws back to pass. Pass intended for number 8, Jacob Poor. Carpio playing a little better defense on Poor than he was on Hartman, just because of the size differential.
Yeah, Hartman's a much bigger player, and he can easily use that really to get past Carpio.
Nichols draws back to pass. Pass rush is strong for Lawrence. And there is a fumble on the play, and Lawrence will recover it.
Michael Monclova and Carlos Gonzalez combine on the sack for Lawrence. They bring Ryan Nichols down in the backfield, so it's a turnover on downs. 1st and 10 for the Lancers from their own 26-yard line.
Lawrence will start the, will have the ball on their own 26-yard line with just over a minute to go here in the first half.
Yeah, back to that Hartman matchup. The thing I've learned about sports in general, playing basketball, is you may not be quite as skilled as your opponent. I mean, you still have some skill, but to a point, size just makes it really impossible to just like completely stop that person, because I've had my experiences playing basketball, playing more of a one-on-one style with larger players, and it was impossible for me to play considering my style is not for that. So it's really, and that transcends into football, because you're not gonna be able to just block passes that are to a guy a foot taller than you or something like that. So you really need to have some kind of size that can actually compete with who you're guarding.
Yeah, you see a lot of different heights for student athletes pretty much across the country. So everyone grows at a different time in their life. And majority of high school students in general start growing later on in high school. More like the second half of their sophomore year, going into junior year, and usually you'll be full grown either towards the end of the junior year or your senior year.
Sounds like you're talking about like breeding ducks or something. Yeah, well, they're gonna be full grown in a couple years. But you look at this Lancers offense, and they're one of those few teams I really think is capable of getting the ball across all these yards in such a short amount of time.
Valerio's pass intended for Bias. Correction, his intended receiver was Elvis Pena.
Pass was complete. It's good for a Lancer first down.
I saw it bounce out of his hands. I can't believe he caught that thing. I'm out of my mind.
Valerio dropped back to pass. Urena with the reception. Fights away from one tackler. It's tackled by his shoestrings.
In front, and Valerio starting to chip away at that difference to 2,000 yards, and he's already the Lancers' all-time best passer in terms of yardage. Although I doubt early on they did not count that as a stat yet for like high school, so he may not be, but he's technically he has a record, and he's looking to build upon that and break some barriers and get some milestones.
Timeout by Lawrence. Just over a minute to go here in the second half.
Jenny, is that you? Are we doing a thing? Okay. You guys and then their band? Okay.
Lawrence moving the ball pretty well here throughout the first half. One thing that hurt them was the one fumble, but they did recover a fumble on defense, so kind of negates that turnover if you want to think about it.
Not statistically. But still, it's very important that they get those plays and make sure that the opponents do not convert on those. And the opponents have not converted on those. And they have enough time to see what they can do if they can convert on this.
Valerio dropped back to pass. One pump fake.
Ooh.
Dameron with the reception.
Valerio's pass complete to Jeremiah Dameron for a gain of 15 yards.
And Nelson Valerio took a shot.
Is that a late hit?
Brought down by Christopher Stanton, number 10.
Valerio looked like he got a little late hit right there. He already got the ball off.
My eyes were on Dameron.
I didn't even realize he let go of the ball until you said that. I thought he still had the ball. That's why, because the guy pushed him. He didn't even tackle, really. So I found it really strange. Valerio has not gotten up. In these days of like concussions in football and stuff like that, you can't be doing that kind of stuff because it wasn't really a regular kind of tackle. It was just a push. He really extended both arms and knocked Valerio to the ground. It's just not something you should be doing. If I was the refs, I'd be calling Sutton on that.
I mean, it doesn't. It's hard to tell from up here if it is a concussion or not. But
Oh no, I'm not sure about that, but
just with the, he did try and get up on his own, then he did fall back down, and even his lineman knew it right away. As soon as he let that ball go, two of his linemen ran back and started pointing that he was hurt. If head coach Mike Yamin out there, Valerio's starting to get up a little bit, still on his knees though.
this is the last thing Lawrence needs right now. With Valerio out, I mean, they saw Rosa, but so that's big. But Valerio really is the leader of this offense. He makes them what they are. He's getting an applause as he gets out. He's starting to walk off the field.
On his own, which is a good sign.
Yes.
With that being said, you have Luis Rosa in at quarterback now. First and 10 for Lawrence. Lewis draws back to pass. Has to get rid of it.
Rose's pass incomplete.
Lewis's pass comes incomplete.
Second down and 10.
Second down and 10 here for Lawrence. Just over 30 seconds to go.
Which means that they have 30 seconds to get the ball from where they are right now into the end zone, which is going to be difficult without having Valerio to do that for them.
They would love to put up another touchdown here, but we'll wait and see what happens. Rosa drops back to pass, breaks one tackle.
Ooh.
He picks up quarterback keeper, but there is a flag on the play. It will go against Lawrence. That would negate the first down that Rosa picked up. It will be second down and very long for Lawrence.
The 35-yard line, so it's second and 20.
Time is expiring on the clock. 9.4 remaining according to the clock.
About 10 seconds remaining in the first half.
Salem with the timeout.
Be sure to stick around at halftime for performances by the Lawrence Lancer football cheerleaders and the Blue Devil marching band.
Both teams taking advantage of this timeout. Lawrence just getting out of their huddle and seem ready to start up their offense again, probably for a half-ending play.
I have a couple of seconds to maybe get 2 plays off, depending on what happens.
Yeah, if they have to go for a pass, it'll probably only be 1 play because, well, it actually depends if the opponent rushes, because then they might not get time in the pocket to wait. Like
Rosa escapes the pocket, but is tackled.
Puts Rosa on the quarterback keeper. He picks up 2.
That leaves him with 3.6 seconds to get something to go for them. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They'll take a timeout, and now they have 3.6 seconds, which doesn't really matter because they'll keep going after the 0. But we're going to see how they end this first half. It'll be really big if they get the touchdown because that'll give them the ball. That'll give them the touchdown. 20-point lead, 21 if they get the extra point, 22 if they take a 2-point, do the 2-point conversion, which wouldn't make sense, but just in case. And then they get the ball to start the second half, which is huge. But now they're learning to play the first half, which is even huger.
Rosa's pass completed to them, to Urena. Urena on the pitch to Pena, and Pena will be pushed out of bounds. That was the final play of the first half. Lawrence up 14-0 on Salem. We'll be back with second half action coming up.
First half, Lawrence Lancers lead the Salem Blue Devils 14-0.
Think before you send.
Bullying can take many forms. One of the meanest is cyberbullying. Texting, email, Facebook, and Twitter are all relentless and can cause anguish and desperation. See what it can do.
Hi, I'm Megan. You just saw me as the victim of cyberbullying. This happens in many schools all the time. Don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. Think before you send.
When you skip breakfast at school, you have no energy. When you have no energy, you fall asleep in class. When you fall asleep in class, you have nightmares of wild animals dancing on your head. Don't have nightmares of wild animals dancing on your head.
Kids who eat breakfast perform better in class, behave better, have better attendance.
Eat a healthy breakfast at school every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to second half action here at Rangers Memorial Stadium, where your Lawrence Lancers are up 14-0 against the Salem Blue Devils. Trey, were there any key points in the first half that you noticed that Lawrence stayed focused on?
Well, yeah, there was something really interesting I noticed is that their offense was just completely great. They could do things in a variety of ways, which you know they can do, but some games they struggle in a certain department. But today it was not the case with that. They scored well in general. The defense stopped the opponents from scoring, which was major, obviously, because that's how things always are in the sport. And something very good, I think, about this to take away is that Rosa can play good. And so if Valerio's not, completely having good stretch, you can still put Rosa in and get some good quality performance from a quarterback.
Exactly.
Gone next year.
Exactly. That was the one thing I noticed too. Regardless of who was in that quarterback, they were both able to score. I mean, Luis Rosa connected for one touchdown pass, and Nelson Valerio connected for the other. Nelson Valerio even though Nelson did not get the start, he did extend his passing yards to 1,978. So if he comes back out for second half action, that 2,000-yard mark is right in front of him.
Only 22 yards away. So it's literally basically one good pass away from having that 2,000-yard barrier smashed for good.
And they will get the ball to start the second half. So we'll see who comes out for them. Back deep to return for Lawrence is number 11, John Roy. And number 38.
Deep to receive for Lawrence. For 38, Melvin Caceres.
Number 38, Melvin Caceres. Caceres with the return. Stopped hard.
Caceres, an 8-yard kickoff return out to the 25-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Lancers.
And Nelson Valerio will be back in at quarterback for Lawrence. Just 22 yards away from that 2,000-yard milestone. We also have Justin Flores in the backfield. First time that we've seen that tonight. With that being said, Nelson with the handoff to Flores. Flores picking up the first down.
Flores on the first down carry for Lawrence. He picks up 13 yards and a Lancer first down out to the 39-yard line.
So by the end of the day, Aaron, do you think that Valerio will be able to pass 2,100? Never mind 2,000.
I don't know. It'll be tough. I mean, granted they are up 14-0, but Salem has been playing pretty good defense. Give up a couple of long plays here and there, but the main goal right now is the 2,000. Another handoff to Flores, bullies his way through the middle, pick up a 4.
Flores again on the carry.
See, I think that it's probably not going to. I think he'll hit the 2,000 obviously because that's really difficult for him not to 22 yards unless he gets sent back.
Right, exactly.
Passes. But that's probably not going to happen. The main thing with that is if he gets 2,000 when he's 22, he's going to really have that. I don't know. I have that mentality that when I get that kind of thing, I'm like, oh, I should have gotten this many more. And I think being an athlete, you kind of have to have that mentality.
Well, it is something definitely to build on. I mean, he is only a sophomore quarterback, and if he's going for 2,000 yards in one season, and like we talked about earlier, it really isn't even a full season because he didn't play the first game of the year, and he came in second half of their second game. So it is good to see that they have good youth coming up, especially in the quarterback position, one of the harder positions to find and fill consistently.
Replay second down and 8.
There was a flag on the play against Lawrence. Valerio drops back to pass. Pass intended for Baez. Baez with the reception.
Valerio's pass complete to 81. Franger Baez into Salem territory for a Lancer first down. Gain of 13 yards on that pass.
And he is merely 9 yards from the 2,000-yard mark. It's interesting for him because he's probably not aware of how many he's away because he can't be thinking of that. So for him to hear probably when he gets back, oh yeah, you broke a 2,000-yard mark, but you probably will. It's going to be interesting.
Hands off to Flores. Flores picks up a couple. Second down and 6. picking up a passing first down will put him 3 yards away. Valerio pump fake, scrambles and get tackled. Stopped hard.
Valerio is sacked. Number 58, Patrick Hughes made the tackle.
Patrick Hughes picking up the sack for Salem.
It'll be 3rd down and 11.
3rd and long for Lawrence, just over midfield.
Lawrence, you see that whole thing right there, like getting across there. I think that was half the battle. Now that they're warmed up, they're ready to just attack and get through those yards and get to the end zone.
Nelson drops back to pass, going deep. This pass is intended for Jeremiah Dameron, but is incomplete.
Valerio's pass intended for Jeremiah Demrion is incomplete.
And that would have given him the 2,000 yards passing. Dameron reacted a little late there.
That would give him 2,000 yards passing, over 300 yards pass and running. Just great season from him.
Santiago back to punt for Lawrence. Salem has one lone back. Nice punt by Santiago. It's going to take a Lancer bounce down to the 10-yard line. So Salem will start the second half
37-yard punt
with the ball down on their own 10-yard line.
By number 37, Michael Vasquez. It's Blue Devil ball, 1st and 10 for Salem from their own 11-yard line.
And this is it. This is, from my experiences, the third quarter is always, when you're playing, it always feels like that desperation thing when you're down multiple scores, especially in any sport, really, because you get that thing like, oh no, I have to score here, and you just get desperate. But then in the fourth, you're like, oh, you have to kind of calm down. You're like, okay, I can still make this. But the third is when it really starts to hit you, that time's running out.
Well, second half is where you make a majority of your changes if things aren't going your way. Granted, 14 points is not a lot, but Lawrence more aggressive. And there is a fumble on the play, and it appears that Lawrence has recovered. They're going to award it to Salem. Salem recovers the fumble.
Salem recovers their own fumble on the play. It's 3rd down.
From where we're sitting at, it appeared that Lawrence had picked that up.
Lancers fans, you can watch this and any other Lancers game of the week on your television on channel 99 or channel 40 for 99 for Comcast, channel 41 for Verizon. Soon you'll be able to watch it on your mobile device or online with our YouTube channel, but I'm not quite sure that is up and running yet. So soon it'll be on all platforms.
There are a few games on YouTube. There are the 2 volleyball games that we covered, and the last home game that Lawrence played against Drake It.
Oh, wow.
So those are up and running to be watched at any time, and all you have to do is go to YouTube and just type in Lawrence Public Schools and just scroll down. There's a few pages and just look for the Lancer game of the
Lawrence
week.
Public Schools volleyball, and that should come up.
Yeah, it's something like LHS girls volleyball versus either Haverhill or Drake It. Urena on the punt return, breaks one tackle, and is down inside the 30-yard line.
40-yard punt by Bemister. Returned by George Urena, 16 yards into Salem territory down to the 36-yard line. Lawrence has the ball.
But that YouTube search engine will become a lot more effective moving forward, just because we'll be covering basketball pretty soon, and then we have whatever games we do in the spring.
So there'll be a plethora of games for you to be watching, and you better watch them which I assume you already are because you're listening to me right now.
Valerio in at quarterback. Oh, correction, Rosa in at quarterback. He's going to pitch it to Pena, and Pena's going to pitch it to Baez. A little bit of trickery there.
Carry for Lawrence. He's inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line.
Had me tongue twisted for a minute.
Spotted at the 19. So it goes to 7-yard gain and it's second down and 3.
Very tricky play there.
Well, you figure they kind of, Lawrence pretty much punted on this side of the field, so they're trying to get the ball back and score as quick as possible. Rosa in at QB. He's going deep to Urena, and Urena with the touchdown grab. What a catch by George Urena.
Complete to number 2, George Urena. 19 yards for a Lancer touchdown. The senior, Luis Rosa, with his second touchdown pass of the night. Lawrence leads 20-0 with the extra point pending.
Lawrence is up 20-0, pending the PAT. Santiago in for the PAT, and it is good.
Xavier Santiago's third extra point kick of the night.
With that, Lawrence is up 21-0 here in the third quarter.
Thanks to Luis Rosa's second touchdown pass of the night, Lawrence leads Salem 21-0.
It's going to be interesting because Rosa played in there, so Valerio couldn't get his 2,000 yards. But so I'm really looking forward to this game. Just really am, man.
Rosa is definitely very emotional on the sideline right now. Jumping up and down. Full of excitement there. He definitely came to play today. Santiago in on the kickoff. Nice blocking ahead for Salem. Will be pushed out. Number 8, Jacob Poor, on the return will be pushed out of bounds.
5-yard kickoff return. He was knocked out of bounds by Lawrence's number 1, Henry Carpio. Blue Devil
Carpio on the stop for Lawrence.
Ball spotted at the Blue Devil 30-yard line.
In at quarterback for Salem is number 7, Jacob Lacoste.
Second and 11. Jacob Lacoste in at quarterback for Salem, number 7.
Lacoste drops back to pass. Going deep. It's double coverage.
Lacoste's first pass of the night.
Pass intended for number 80, John Hartman. That is incomplete.
Third down and 11 for Salem at their own 29.
Third and long for Salem here.
It's extremely interesting to see why Lacoste is entering the field. I am absolutely unaware of any reason that would be the case. Maybe just to give him some playing time.
And there will be a flag thrown. It's going to be a personal foul.
Penalty flag on the play.
That was a very clear foul. You could see that some of that contact there.
That personal foul is going to be on Henry Carpio for pass interference. That will give Salem a first down.
Announce Lakos. Jake Lakos.
Penalty against Lawrence, a personal foul. It's a 15-yard penalty. That'll give the Blue Devils a first down. first and 10, Salem at their own 44.
And that was a pretty apparent pass interference. Came in late. Was all over the receiver. Lakos in at QB. Gonna hand off to Martinez. Martinez gonna get good blocking. He's gonna
Martinez on the carry.
be short of the first down.
And already time is seeming to expire extremely quickly. 3 minutes and 44 seconds. This is like expiring faster than sourdough bread.
Ball spotted in Lancer territory at the 47.
And they did give Salem the first down. Very quick moving quarter here, like you just said, Trey. If you think about it, though, Lawrence did start the second half with the ball. And with the way that they move the ball up and down the field, as we've seen over the season, they can definitely eat up as much time as possible.
Second down and 1 for Salem at the Lawrence 47.
There's another flag on the play. Carpio playing good defense. There's going to be 2 flags on the play.
Another flag.
For John Hartman, incomplete. There are 2 penalty flags on the play. Both appear to be against Lawrence. One is for offsides against Lawrence.
The first penalty is offsides against Lawrence, and then the other is going to be pass interference again on number 1, Henry Carpio.
This
the
is
second pass interference in a matter of minutes
for him. Wow. Well, you get
the first one was apparent, but that one was an iffy call.
But it was an understandable call. Carpio, I don't know. I'm not liking what he's doing today. Earlier, he wasn't too bad. He had a little trouble guarding, obviously, the bigger players. But he wasn't doing too bad. Now he's starting to go down a bit. I'd get some substitutes in there.
Lakos on the handoff to Martinez.
Carpio is still shown that he is a capable player.
And there is a timeout.
Lawrence calls a 20-second timeout.
Lawrence calls a 20-second timeout. So couple of unfortunate penalties here for going against Lawrence, helping Salem move the ball down the field late in the third quarter. So Lawrence secondary has to step up and make a stop here.
That was a fast 20 seconds.
Lakos on the keeper. He's going to be tackled.
Lakos on the quarterback keeper picks up 2.
Third and long here for Salem. Lakos drops back to pass. Big pass rush coming for Lawrence. Lakos slides, but not enough for the first down.
The quarterback keeper, he slides down just inside the 30. Salem will have 4th down at the Lawrence 28-yard.
4th and 6 here for Salem. On Lawrence's side of the field.
Timeout Salem.
Salem will call their first timeout of the first for Salem.
Let's have a round of applause for our freshman cheerleaders from the class of 2016, Deandra Baptiste, Angelica Figueroa.
Granted, Salem did call the timeout, but it does help. It does help Lawrence being able to calm your secondary down and have them step up here and make a big play.
Yes, that is correct.
Talia Garcia, Chanel Sanchez, Suedi Hernandez, Jamilis Casano, and Kimberly Garcia. Our senior cheerleaders will be honored after the game, along with the senior football players from the class of 2013 are Ashley Arbaez, Shelly Vargas, co-captain Yolanda Gonzalez, and co-captain Winnie Taveras, and senior captain Ana Marina Acosta.
Lakos drops back to pass. Pass is picked off.
A lot of fumbling with the ball right there. And in the end, Lawrence took away the ball.
Senior number 24, Israel Santiago, coming up with a big interception right there. Secondary definitely played stronger on that series there.
I believe I knew Israel years ago, but I'm not sure if it's the same Israel. I'm pretty sure since I don't know a lot of Israels. But yeah, he was definitely a big sports person, even in middle school. Interesting to see him here now as a big-time player in his final game with this team.
Rosa handed off to Pena. Pena picked up a couple.
Dominic Gigante in on the tackle for Salem. Second down and 8 for Lawrence from their own 21.
Second down and 8 here for Lawrence. Valerio back in at quarterback. It's going to go long to Urena. Urena breaks the pass, is broken up. Ryan Nichols on the defensive stop there for Salem.
Ryan Nichols on the defensive coverage for the Blue Devils. Third down and 8 for Lawrence from their own 21.
Third and long here for Lawrence. Valerio is back in there, so he still has a chance to grab 2,000 yards passing. Pass is completed to Fran Baez.
Valerio's pass complete to Fran
It looks like that should give it to him.
He stopped just shy of the first down marker.
Baez stopped a yard short.
Looks like the ball will be spotted at the 28-yard line, and Lawrence will have 4th and short.
He still has 2 yards. 2 passing yards to go. So basically any pass will do right now.
4th and short here for Lawrence. They will bring the chains out for a measurement. And they will award Lawrence the first down.
And that gives Lawrence. This means Nelson Valerio is a yard shy of 2,000 yards in the season.
29-yard line.
1 yard shy. It's amazing.
Valerio on the handoff. Jeremiah Demeron is tackled hard in the backfield.
The carry is brought down for a loss.
Looks like the running game has looked a little lackluster over the last few plays. I'd say get a quick pass off. Kind of make the history there while you still can. Like you probably will in the 4th, but just to get that over with so you don't have to think about, like, you know, at the end of the game, you're going to want to try to get that just kind of over a mental, emotional kind of thing. Like, oh, yeah, you know, let's just do that, especially if the game continues on this path.
Well, it is 2nd and long, so be expecting a pass here. There's a flag on the plate. It's going to be most likely a false start against Lawrence.
Penalty goes against Lawrence. Illegal procedure, motion prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty moves the ball back inside the 20-yard line, and it'll be 2nd down and 20.
2nd and very long here for Lawrence.
Looks like we're gonna let the clock run out. And something I tend to forget is that the clock, like the play keeps going between the third and fourth and the first and second quarters. So I'll be thinking, oh yeah, well they're gonna have to restart the whole thing.
1 quarter of football
Even
left
though
to
that's
play
only
in the
halftime.
2012 season.
3 quarters down, 1 to go for the 2012 season for both of these teams. Lawrence is up 21-0. Nelson Valerio is 1 yard shy of 2,000 yards passing.
See you later, guys. Have a nice Thanksgiving. Come Boston, hey. He's Boston here. You going to game tomorrow? You going to Sunday game tomorrow? No. Turn back. Yeah.
Second and very long here for Lawrence to start the 4th quarter. Valerio drops back to pass. He's going to take a hit on the plate. Pass broken up.
Intended for George Urena, incomplete. 3rd down and long for Lawrence.
Lawrence will be in a 3rd down and very long coming up. Coach Amin will have to take a 20-second timeout. Lawrence was late breaking the huddle there.
Timeout called by Lawrence.
Coach Amin not happy on the sideline about having to waste that timeout.
Tonight is the night we honor Lancer senior football players and cheerleaders.
Tonight is also, with it being the final game of the season, tonight is also senior night. We'll be announcing the seniors shortly after the game has finished. Lawrence is going 5 wide, 3 at the bottom, 2 at the top. Going to put 1 in motion. Nelson's pass is going to be intended for John Roy, and John Roy will not be able to hold on to that one.
That'll bring up 4th down for Lawrence from their own 19.
4th and 20 for Lawrence. Lawrence will be forced to punt here.
Tim, what's Bill's last name? Diodati?
Santiago in for the punt. Nice punt.
Xavier Santiago's punt is downed by Lawrence's Jariel Velez.
Jariel Velez on downing the punt. Salem will take over on the inside the 40-yard line.
It's really important that Salem converts right now, considering that if they don't, they really messed up a crucial opportunity, because this is their time, because they're starting out the 4th quarter, so they can really get something going, possibly win this. But if they don't get things going right now, they're just gonna collapse into a dark abyss of pain.
There is. This is definitely the crucial time here for Salem. Granted, they're only down 21 points, and there's still plenty of time to go. But the way this Lancer defense has been playing, it's going to be very tough to score on them. They make little mistakes, and then they come back and make big stops.
Yes, yes.
Martinez on the 1-yard carry.
You see, the thing with Salem is, to me, they're almost like a seagull because they kind of just hang around there, but they don't really do anything major. Like, they just kind of hang around. You don't really see them do anything, which they haven't scored, so that's the not doing anything. And they've kind of hung around. Like, they've been in the red zone a few times.
Lacoste has to scramble around, and his receiver makes an unbelievable catch. Pass caught by number 80, John Hartman.
What an amazing catch there.
Hartman picks up first an incredible catch.
Double teamed, juggles it around, takes it for himself.
Salem will have the ball, 1st and goal. Cost on the screen pass. Jadiel Polanco on the tackle.
He's down inside the 5-yard line. Jadiel Polanco made the tackle for Lawrence. 2nd and goal for Salem at the Lawrence.
Here's Salem looking to get that crucial 1st touchdown. This touchdown can put them on the radar for this game.
And he'll be stopped short of the goal line.
But not at that play. Yeah, they didn't get it there, which is pretty disappointing for its fans. You could see them kind of quiet over there. Don't really know what to do. Haven't been in this kind of position in a while. But Lawrence's fans are happy because Lawrence is having a fantastic game, which can sort of be said about Salem, except that they haven't been able to convert, which is really the key.
On the handoff. Adigan on the handoff. He'll be stopped. Correction on the carry. He'll be stopped short of a lot. 4th and 5 here for Salem.
Well, at least for the Salem Blue Devils' sake, they're in field goal territory. But they don't look like they want to attempt a field goal. Apparently not. If they don't get this play going, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a game-changing.
Lawrence bringing unbelievable pressure. Number 47, Nathaniel Cruz, coming up with a big sack.
Fantastic right there from him, making sure that nothing happens on that offensive end. And now they're up 21-0, 7:27 to go, and they have the ball. This is huge. This is going to be the key to the game. Literally, if they can get a 28-point, 29-point, depends if they do 2-point conversion. You never know. I doubt they will, though. But 28-point, like, possibly, lead, that would be huge. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think they will, but I can't be sure, obviously.
Valerio in at quarterback. He's going to hand off to Pena. Pena's going to get tackled in the backfield for a loss.
Pena on the carry for Lawrence. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, stopped for no gain. Ball spotted at the 20 at 2nd and 9.
Valerio throws to Baez on the screen. Baez picks up a couple.
Valerio's pass complete to Franger Baez. Knocked out of bounds up around the 28-yard line. That's close to a Lancer first down. See where they spot it. That is a Lawrence first down.
And Lawrence will get the first down.
Gain of 9 yards on that play. And ladies and gentlemen, Lawrence quarterback Nelson Valerio has gone over 2,000 yards
And with that,
on the season.
with that pass attempt completed by completed to Frangerbayes. Nelson Valerio has thrown for 2,000 yards. First time ever that Lawrence High School has had a quarterback, never mind a sophomore quarterback, throw for 2,000 yards. And with him being so young, 2,000 yards in a season could be something that we see on a regular basis for the next couple of years in this area.
I'm going to make a bold statement. He's going to get 2750 next year. I have high hopes for him.
It's always tough to throw for 2,000 yards. I mean, he was short coming into tonight, but with the way he's been throwing the ball, he definitely is on pace for a couple more. What a catch by Frangerbayes up the sideline. Franger will be stopped at their own 30-yard line, but there is a penalty on the play.
Looks like Valerio doesn't want to stop at 2,000.
And the flag will be against Salem for a horse collar. Great ball thrown by Valerio.
Back to the penalty ball spotted at the 16-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for Lawrence.
Valerio's going to hand off to Flores. Flores is going to bully his way up the middle. Going to be just short of a first down.
Gain of 7 yards on first down.
Bring up second and third for Lawrence. Move the ball pretty well on this offensive series here.
Oh, yes, they did. They have been playing fantastic, and it looks like Valerio might get another touchdown. Yeah. And to add to his impressive numbers already, that would just be fantastic.
Flores on the carry.
Justin Flores on the carry for Lawrence. Gets inside the 5 and will pick up the first down.
Good for a Lancer first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Lawrence at the Salem 4-yard line.
Yeah, Valerio's out. It's Rosa again.
Luis Rosa is back in at quarterback. Just under 5 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Lawrence trying to stretch their lead. Puts Demeron in motion. Lewis is going to keep it. It's going to be tackled hard.
Tackled in the backfield for a loss. It goes as a sack for number 58, Patrick Hughes.
Best player on Salem's, best players on Salem are all sophomores.
2nd and 6 for Lawrence coming up here. Rosa drops back to pass. He's going to keep it. He has daylight in front of him, makes a couple of moves. Picks up a couple.
Luis Rosa on the quarterback keeper. He's inside the 5-yard line.
Oh, wow. Already 3.5 left in the game. 21-0 Lawrence. Looks like a nice way for Luis Rosa to go out.
It's 3rd and goal.
Third and 3 here for Lawrence. Rosa has 3 in the backfield with him. Pena, Demeron, and Flores. He's going to hand off to Flores. Justin's going to make one move. He's going to push his way forward.
On the carry for Lawrence. He's down to the
He's going to be short of the touchdown. Going to bring up 4th and 1. And it looks like Lawrence is attempting the field goal.
And they already got 21-0. They should feel pretty comfortable with the field goal.
pretty much where he's kicking an extra point from, so should be no different. Salem does call timeout. Just under 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter of the final game of the 2012 season for the Lawrence Lancers. They are on top 21-0 against the Salem Blue Devils.
It's crazy that they've turned around to start winning games after having a horrendous beginning. Now they're really looking like one of the better teams in the MVC.
Well, they were young coming into the season. A lot of their players had never had varsity playing time, so everything gets better over time. Just glad to see they were able to pull a couple of wins together. And Lawrence will be going for it. Rosa on the 1 yard line. He's going to keep it for himself, and he's going to score. Luis Rosa extends the Lancer lead from 21 to 27. Lawrence on top, 27-0. Granted, Nelson Vallejo did throw for 2,000 yards this evening, but Luis Rosa is having one heck of a game, having a couple of touchdown passes, getting a rushing touchdown there.
Oh, he is having one heck of a game. He's just looking fantastic today.
And Santiago's field goal will be blocked.
Extra point attempt is blocked by Salem.
It is 27-0. And the Blue Devils have 2 minutes and 36 seconds to record 4 touchdowns to make what would be a good comeback, but it would be extremely difficult. But wait.
There might have been a flag on the play. We'll redo the PAT. Santiago's PAT is up, and it is good.
And this time, Santiago's fourth extra point.
Santiago has had 4 PATs this evening. Lawrence is now up 28-0. Just over 2.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Salem will get the ball at midfield.
That's really going to help them out with 2 minutes 34 seconds remaining. The only issue is getting the ball again. Even if they get the touchdown, let's say 28-0. Let's say they get touchdowns. Even say they get the 2-point conversion, 28-8. They have to stop Lawrence from running down the clock and taking the whole game out and ending it.
There will be a flag on the play against Lawrence. Legal procedure. Salem pick up 5 yards. 1st and 5 here for Salem. Ryan Nichols back in at quarterback. Nichols drops back to pass. Picked off. Number 3, Chris Pena, coming up with a big interception.
Preston with the interception for Lawrence.
And this secondary for Lawrence has stepped it up here in the second half, forcing 2 big turnovers.
After Pena's interception, it's Lancer ball, 1st and 10 for Lawrence from their own 16-yard line.
Lawrence will take over at their own 16-yard line.
Lawrence calls timeout.
This is amazing. This is just, after having done what they've already done, getting the interception to basically, they can take so much time off the clock unless they throw an interception or fumble. Without turning it over in any way, they can really take the clock down probably to the end, and if they don't, they'll probably basically give the opponents like barely any time to get 1 touchdown, never mind 4 to tie. That's just to tie it too.
And with the way this game has played out, it's pretty much what happened last year. Late in the game, Chris Pena had an interception to seal the deal for Lawrence. Pena coming up big here again with another big interception.
Are you leading the
Yes,
singing thing?
I'll be down there, yeah.
Can you give me the call when I start saying names? Or should I just do it when I see people?
Done up?
Give me a phone call.
Rosa back to pass. Pass completed to Urena. Urena is going to be pushed out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down.
That I don't see why he tried to do that. I don't see why he tried to pick up all those yards. I would have just taken it, gotten to the ground there, you know what I mean? And then let the time start to die out. Once he went out of bounds, he stopped the clock and he really...
Oh, he was pushed out of bounds, so...
But he could have, before the defense had really gotten to him when he was running, I would have just slid to the ground.
We're going to have another timeout. Correction, there is. Rosa's going to be sacked hard, but there is a flag on the play.
Lewis Rosa is sacked, but there is a penalty flag on the play. Penalty goes against Lawrence for holding.
Flag is against Lawrence for holding.
18-yard line, so it's 1st and 20.
On the handoff.
Number 34, Edison Urena.
Edison Urena on the carry.
Tackled by Salem's number 40, Cody Sharp. Loss on the play, back to the 15. 2nd and long.
2nd and long here for Lawrence. Just under a minute and a half. Going to take their time. Let the clock run out as much as possible.
Doing a good job of that so far.
Supposed to drop it back to pass. George Urena coming up with another big catch.
Rosa's pass complete to George Urena. Urena now unofficially over 1,000 yards receiving on the season.
And with that reception by George Urena, unofficially he's over 1,000 yards receiving for the season.
Lawrence now 3rd down and 5 at their own 33.
Lawrence now is gonna. They don't really have to take their time here since the clock stopped anyways. They could just get the first down, nice line drive, I think, because then there's no way they really can go out of bounds and stop the clock or any kind of run, really. And here it is, under a minute to go.
Edison Urania on the carry. Pickup of 2.
Nicola Ottiello made the tackle for Salem. 4th down for Lawrence.
4th and 5 here for Lawrence. It appears they're going to let Coach Mike Yamin calls timeout here with 18 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Lawrence will be back to punt. Xavier Santiago back to punt. And they're going to call another timeout.
Fourth down, Lawrence. Xavier Santiago is back.
Santiago back to punt. Punt is up and away. It's going to take a good bounce.
Santiago's punt is down by Jariel Velez at the 36-yard line, and it'll be Blue Devil ball. Benny.
And I believe it's pretty safe to say that this game is ended in Lawrence's favor. In favor of Lawrence.
Have that one more.
Somehow I doubt
one more play here.
Somehow I doubt they're gonna get 4 touchdowns in these 9.6 seconds.
First and 10, Salem from their own 36.
Draws back to pass. Going deep. Pass is caught.
Ryan Nichols' pass complete.
Nichols' pass complete.
So wait,
to number 40.
Inside Lancer territory down to the 34.
Salem will call a timeout with 1 second to go.
And a first down for the Blue Devils. First and 10, Salem. Just seconds remaining in the game.
Nichols draws back to pass. Pass will be incomplete. And with that, the ball game is over. Lawrence wins their final game of the season, 28-0 against the Salem Blue Devils. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned in the upcoming months for other Lancer sports.